All right, there we go. So, ladies and gentlemen, girls and boys, children of all ages. No, I'm just kidding. We're not going to do that. Welcome to the Psychology of Risk Management webinar. This is part of the Funded Trader webinar series. This is the fifth one. It's actually the sixth because we did a similar one to this about a week and a half ago, and we had some technical things. So we wanted to redo it and make sure that everybody got access to this, that everybody could see it, and that it was clear for everyone. We've been putting these webinars on specifically for funded traders, though they don't have to be for funded traders. They work perfectly fine for more traditional traders trading your own accounts. We've just made a big push recently towards funded traders because of the way the prop trading accounts and the prop firms have become more simple in their functional use for traders, and it's easier to get paid. So just because of that, we've been making that move. It gives you guys a lot more leverage and things like that. So before we get too deep into it, most of you here know Pat. He's a 20-year professional trading veteran, developed modified market profile system. Many of you are traders inside of that system now. This is a very sought-after trading and education system. On a regular basis, we get approached by people to have us bring it into their organizations. And we've consistently kept it outside. We've always kept ourselves agnostic to that and isolated and able to be more fluid with our students. Pat's taught literally thousands of students the modified market profile, and the success stories are there. We post them every day, guys. You see our posts with the success stories. You see the Trustpilot reviews, and you see that this is a system that works. When we live in a world where everybody and their brother advertises online that they're traders, you've got a guy with 20 plus years of professional trading experience, thousands of students' success stories, and again, it's transparent. The results are shown every day and have been for the last 5 years. Okay, so every day those student results are shown. And I always stress that it's not Pat's results. Pat in and of his own is a fantastic trader, but these aren't Pat's results. What you see is the student results. It's you folks, what you're doing in your level of success. I co-own Target with Pat. Mike Z here, 25 years in the financial industry. I was an investment banker for about 15 of those years, founder, owner, and operator of multiple trading, education, and software companies. And I like the old hair club for men quote, I'm not only the president, I'm also a client. You guys will hear me say that every time. I firmly believe in what we do, so much so that my own money rides on it. I trade with the same systems you guys use, the same software, the same automations, the same programs. If we find things that we don't like or don't believe in, we get rid of them. If we find things that we fall in love with, we bring it to you guys and we present you with the new opportunities. That's right, Tim, that's exactly right. I eat my own dog food. And you guys have seen over the years, those of you guys that have been with us for a while, you've seen we've modified the program to market conditions. We've brought in new systems and methods. We're always evolving, always trying to bring you guys the best working systems and models for the present time, okay? Now, one of the interesting things is I say that, we're going to get into the disclaimer right here, but one of the interesting things is I say we're always trying to bring you guys the evolution, right? Is one thing that hasn't changed is the base model of what Pat teaches. Pat has taught for 15 years. There's been minor tweaks to the system. We've added automation. We've added a lot of other things, but Pat's system works. And that's why we've consistently gone back to that method as the core for our traders and for our trading education. Many of you, and I look down the list of the people that are in today, many of you are longtime students. You know this. You know that for a long time we were against prop trading. We recently said, you know what? We're seeing there's a huge value in prop trading right now. They've modified a lot of what they do. You're also seeing that we've developed different software programs. Nancy, David has been an absolute blessing to us. David Wallace came in and has developed our software platforms, which many of you guys use, the Executioner, the Da Vinci, and he built a new HVA program for us. These programs have been blessings to us as traders, made life a lot easier. Like many of you on this call today, trading is not my full-time job, okay? I run the companies, I run other companies. I trade when I have time, and it's not always enough time. And what a lot of the things that we've brought to the table, the software and the automation has allowed me to do that with a high degree of success. I'm not somebody that can sit in front of a screen for 2 hours a day every day. I just don't have the time. So, like many of you. Quick disclaimer, guys. As always, the information is for education purposes. We do have software packages. Those are for software. We do not give investment advice. If you want investment advice, speak to a financial advisor. We strongly recommend it. We are not shy about speaking to investment advisors. In fact, many of our students are financial advisors because they like what we do and they apply it for their own clients. So this whole series, the Funded Trader webinar series, started with this concept that every trader should be a funded trader. Those of you that joined us early on, you understood why. We've seen a lot of reasons why. Number one, and probably the biggest, is the leverage, right? Putting your own account on margin with losses versus trading a prop account, you preserve your own capital. You're able to pay an eval or a reset cost versus losing personal assets. We've seen this across investor sizes. So we've got many students with us with 7- and 8-figure portfolios who still use prop firms to trade with. They found that it's better to use the prop firms than to eat away at your own net worth or take the risk of your own net worth when trading. We look at it as dumb math. Take less risk and get that 80-90% payout on the upside with the same high return. I use the word dumb math. I know some people have come to me and said, oh, you shouldn't call it dumb. Guys, it is dumb. Okay? It's dumb math. You're able to take less risk and have a greater upside. There's very few times in life that you get something as simple and fluid as that mathematically. We did a webinar about how every trader should be a funded trader. We talked about understanding prop firms and understanding the different parameters. Guys, we're going to be producing for our student base. So if you're signed up for Prop Trade Accelerator, you're going to be getting a copy of this. It is going to be a spreadsheet, okay, with various prop firms throughout the United States, okay, and what their daily loss limits are, max trailing losses are, consistency tests, max positions, profit goals, any hidden issues with those firms, what the costs are for eval or if you go direct to funding, all of that laid out on a spreadsheet so you can find the prop firm that best fits your trading method. Okay, so we'll be producing that for our prop trading students as an added value. We've been doing a ton of research with this, guys. We've jumped into this pool with both feet. We are holding ourselves all out as experts because there aren't experts in the field. We're doing this because we have ties to a lot of these companies. We're able to get grassroots level information from inside the company, and many of you students are experienced with these firms and are getting us information that we don't have. So this is a very valuable tool that we'll be putting out to our existing students. So one of the things you need is a trading system. And when we talk about, I talked about this earlier, Pat's system has been the same system for 15 plus years. Okay, he's made minor tweaks and minor modifications to it to increase the effectiveness of the system. It works extremely well, guys. Okay, it works extremely well. The system, any system that you use has to be consistent and high probability. When we talk about high probability, those of you guys that are experienced with market profile, you know what I'm talking about here. We're talking about reversals and inverses, and we're talking about gap fills. The gap fills lately have been insane. Okay, there's been so much overnight volatility that these gap fills in the morning have been awesome. Where it used to be gap fills were 10, maybe 15% of the total trades taken for the day. Now we're seeing it as north of 50%. So as we said, as the times change, things get modified. We have to bring in automation. We brought you guys Da Vinci to help you guys take those gap fills in the morning. So this is based on a system that is extremely consistent, extremely profitable. I don't have to tell you guys what the win rates are. You guys are the students yourselves. You look at this over just the last 4 years. We have earlier numbers, but I didn't want to dumb the sheet down anymore. Look, we're consistently north of 71% win rate. The students are year in and year out, month in and month out, week in and week out. Okay, this system is consistent. It works. The question is can you apply it? All right. One of the issues with having a consistent system, all right, is you have to have risk management strategies. You've got to have money management strategies. It can't just be about the trade itself. We developed a beautiful system for you guys. I say we guys, I love taking partial credit for this. Pat developed a beautiful system. The truth of the matter is it was entirely Pat, but it sounds good when I say we. We developed a beautiful risk management system, money management system. Those of you guys that have been through it, you understand what your first 100 looks like. You understand what money management 1 looks like. Some of you have gone through money management 2, some of you haven't. So you understand the level as you level up your program each time, where you consistently get better at trading, right? You get higher probability of wins, and you get larger wins as you learn how to do it. Having all of these systems doesn't excuse you from live market trading. Okay, even if you're on prop firms, you still have to pay attention to news cycles. You've got to pay attention to your risk management strategy over time. All right, you got to what time of the day, what time of the week, all of those aspects of it. That's the timing in the market, which we did a webinar on. I recommend if you missed that webinar, go back and watch that one. The recordings are on YouTube. That is an awesome one. Okay, timing in the market is extremely valuable. It's something you can apply the next day. We talk about those things every day in the trading room. One of the big benefits of being in the trading room on a regular basis, you find out when news is, you know when to get out of the market, you know when to sit on the sideline and wait for those moves to happen. Okay, we talk a lot about the trade itself, but the truth is that you have to know these other factors in order to be a successful trader. If you didn't see timing in the market, we went over where, when, and how to take the trades that you're used to taking. So when you would take gap fills, what are the best days to take it? What are the timings for it? When are the best times to look for reversals and inverses? Days of the week, hours, times. When are you going to look for what you're looking for? Which brings us to the one factor that we can't control. Okay, so we can help you guys with automation. We can help you guys with software. We can help you guys with, hey, everybody step out right now. There's news coming out and we don't know which direction this is going to explode. Okay, we can help you with that side of it. The part that we can't help you with is the psychology. This is the you part. We can guide you, but at the end of the day, it's up to you to understand where your weaknesses are and how to overcome them. So with that being said, Pat, do you want to start on the psychology of risk management?
Would love to. Everybody, thank you very much for attending. I know you're busy, so we will make this as succinct and direct to the point as we possibly can. The reason, and I'm going to say all trading psychology books are worthless, are because they are designed for you to self-regulate. You are supposed to be shrinking yourself, and you will fail. Even professional shrinks do not shrink themselves. They go to other shrinks. They speak to other people. You cannot regulate yourself. Years ago, before I became a professional trader, I was a professional fighter. I wrestled since I was 6 years old. I had to have someone teach me how to do submission fighting, how to do stand-up fighting, all these things. You just don't learn by yourself and then coach yourself. It does not work. You need to have someone with a proven method, experience doing this, to keep you accountable for what you're doing. If you do not have someone who is keeping you accountable, you are essentially by yourself. Your mind will play tricks on you, and it will make you believe things that are simply not true. What is the most important thing about trading psychology? Guys, this is a two-person gig. It's not one person managing themselves. Starting off, if you do not have a proven method, there is absolutely no way you are ever going to build confidence in yourself to be successful. I tell people all the time that the absolute best trading psychology book I have ever read has absolutely nothing to do with trading psychology. It's a book called On Killing by a Green Beret Lieutenant Colonel Dave Grossman, who became a shrink after he got out of active duty. And essentially what happens is, unless you are one of those people who is absolutely committed to what you're doing, you are never, ever going to succeed at this business. And it's got nothing to do with trading, guys. It's a great read. We'll make sure that you can see it later. You can absolutely, positively not gain any confidence in what you are doing unless you have, again, a method that works and you also have risk management in place. What does this mean? When you start our course, the first thing you must learn are how to do our most basic entries. Once you learn our most basic entries, we then graduate you to money management. So now you're going to have to learn what to do in a real-time environment. So what does that mean? Let's say you take a trade and you make $300. You now have options. You can either risk half of it or you can risk all of it. But if you lose or break even, you're done for the day. As long as you keep winning, you can keep going. But everybody is held accountable. Why? How? Because you are sending every single trade into me via screenshot you are taking. We go over every single entry. Why it was great, why it was terrible. Was it valid? Was it not valid? Was it worth 2? Was it worth 1? Guys, if you've ever been in my room, this goes on all day long. So even when you are not yourself executing a specific entry, someone else has, someone is sending it in for evaluation, your brain is allowing you to let it seep into your subconscious and learn these levels over and over, these lessons over and over and over again. Psychology. You see it working over and over and over again, even if you're not taking it. Back to psychology. Your first trade of the day, you make 300. Your next trade, you can risk half, you can risk it all. But if you lose or you break even, you're done for the day. Why? Let's say you make 300, you risk 150, and you take a full stop out loss. You're done for the day, but you're still up $150. What do you think you're going to remember most? Making 300 or losing 150? Let me help you out here. Your brain, your memory, your subconscious is going to remember the most recent vivid occurrence. That's the loss. You automatically are coming back revenge trading the next day. These are things to think about. These are things that these ridiculous trading psychology books don't even address. And the reason why, because they have no freaking idea what they're talking about. This has nothing to do with your relationship with your mother or your father or the kid you had an issue with when you were 7 years old. It has nothing to do with that. As a matter of fact, psychology in and of itself really, the only psychology involved in this business is taking the trade or not. Well, how are you going to do that? Again, you need a method that's proven. You see it every day. You use that method. You build confidence in it. Even when you are not taking trades, you're seeing other people taking valid entries and they are succeeding. That's psychology, guys. If you see it happening around you with your own eyes, you know it's working. Now, this is something that's very important, and this is what I want to show you. These are trade slides. First and foremost, this is Carl Vitek. He took a trade yesterday in the NASDAQ. He waited for that trade to get there all morning long. First time long at the previous session's low. Winner. Mike, show me the next one, please. This is Dakota Vaughn. First time there in oil yesterday. Winner. $510. Mike, please show me the next one. Steve Taylor, the exact same trade that Carl Fytek took. I did not take it for them. I did not tell them it was coming. I trained them to do it. They are two completely separate traders in completely separate parts of the country who took exactly the same trade and managed it differently according to the trailing preferences they had available to them. Carl Fytek went all in, all out. I think he got stopped trailing too. Steve Taylor got stopped trailing. Carl Fytek was up $185. Steve Taylor up $1,680 live real money. Dakota Vaughn took an oil trade. First time there, exactly the way that he was taught. $510 live real money. What do all three of them have in common? They both started, all three started on my method. They started from nothing. They sent in all their trades. They learned money management, and they all are now prop account trading. Carl is in the process of being funded. Both Steve and Dakota are funded traders. That's what they all have in common. They went through exactly the same path. They did exactly the same thing, and they all ended up exactly in the same place because they freaking listened. What's the most important issue in risk management? Everybody thinks making it is the biggest problem. Guys, Mike showed you our winning percentages. Those are not me taking those trades. Those are our students taking them. Year to date, we're about 77% winners. Once you learn how to make it, we teach you the more important part and the more difficult part, learning how to keep it. How do we learn how to keep it? Going through exactly the same exercise we just went through. If you make X, you can risk half or you can risk it all. But if you're done or you lose or you break even, you're finished for the day. You're accountable to me and to yourself. When you're trading by yourself and there's no one holding you accountable, you can lie to yourself all day long. You can make up all kinds of excuses. And let me tell you guys what excuses are. Excuses are lies. You cannot lie to me when you're sending it in and you're being held accountable. I am then bringing you down off of your dopamine high when you win a trade and we go through the exact same process. So-and-so, you're up X amount. You can risk half, you can risk break even, or you can risk half, you can risk it all. If you lose or you break even, you're done for the day. If you continue to win, you can keep going, or you can leave with this right now and come back a winner tomorrow. When I tell you guys this over and over and over again, it sinks in, it starts to make sense. We were talking about prop firms the other day and earlier in this presentation. Prop firms first hate me and then they love me. What's the dirty secret about prop firms? They want you to lose. They're counting on you to lose. And they know the vast majority of people are going to lose because they have nobody keeping them accountable. They're by themselves in their own head making up crazy stuff, justifying bad trades. They want you to go bust. So you have to continuously pay a re-up fee all the time. Well, they don't like me very much. They don't like Mike very much. Why? Because our company teaches you how to make it and then keep it. Well, after they get done hating us, our people start making a pretty considerable sum of money where they're making 10 or 20%, which is outstripping the money they would have ever made by people re-upping and then quitting over time. We have proof of this. I can show it to you anytime. Several people we have that do this. Psychology. When to quit. When to be there. Guys, you can only trade at a high intensity level for so long. You cannot trade high intensity for a long time. What does high intensity mean? You want to be able to focus like a laser on the best possible times. We tell everyone at the opening of those markets, pit sessions that we trade, gold, oil, the equities, you want to trade till about 11:30, leave. Come back at 2:30, 3 o'clock for the closes of the equities. If you don't have someone writing you, if you don't have someone telling you this every single day, the overwhelming majority of people are going to sit there and stare at a screen and they're going to go absolutely freaking nuts. They are going to be exhausted. They're going to start convincing themselves that they see trades that are not there. When this happens, you start losing. If you don't have somebody stopping you, you continue losing. As a matter of fact, I've never seen anybody who could regulate themselves and do what I am telling you I teach people to do on their own. I've never seen it. I've got as many people who told me that they know their own limits, they can regulate, and they blew up. After proving to me that my method worked through Money Management 1 and Money Management 2, the only thing that was not in the equation anymore was me holding them accountable for what they were doing. You need to be held accountable. You need to trade at your best. You need to accept the fact that there simply are not trades all day. You may not get a great trade for days. You have to accept that. Someone is going to hold you accountable, and someone is going to tell you, guys, there's nothing here. You should probably leave till about 3 o'clock. This process must...
Hey, Pat. I also think some of the things that we don't talk about is this concept that when you submit your trades for review, there's 2 steps of psychology to that. I think the first is before you take the trade, if you know you're going to be sending it in for review, you're much more conscious and careful about what you're doing. We've all been, I think everybody on this in this webinar that's an existing student has been yelled at in the room at least one time for taking a dumb trade, right? And you don't want that. So you're more careful about how you take the trade initially before you submit it because of that. I think that's huge to know that you're being watched so you perform well, right? And I think the second side of it is when you are submitting a trade and you're getting that feedback, the conscious level of what you're doing is higher now too. It makes you more mindful of exactly what you're doing as you're going through it. I think we discount sometimes the value of those trade reviews, but I think it helps psychologically tremendously. At least for me, it does. I think it's a huge benefit to our students as well. It helps you learn faster, and it helps you be more mindful and regulate because you kind of feel like that you're being overseen by Patrick the whole time, and you don't want Patrick to be upset with you kind of mindset. Does that make sense?
It's a phenomenal point, Mike. Also, to Mike's point about submitting trades, I'm the only person in this business who puts these trade levels out the day before. No one else does it. So I know where the best opportunities are, and I know what their value is, whether they're full-size contracts or half-size contracts. There's no cheating here. You're either taking them where they are, when they happen, or you are not. You are not on your own just making things up. That is not going to work anywhere. This process must be repeated every day for success. You've got to have a method that works. You've got to be held accountable. And you've got to repeat the process over and over again. So what is success? Success is confidence in the method because you know it works, and it's repetition using the method. Guys, that's psychology. Anything outside of that is a waste of your time and you're overthinking things. Period. I just made it very simple for you. This is a team effort. No one, trust me, no one wants to watch you succeed more than me. This is another trade. As a matter of fact, this is Dakota Vaughn again. I believe the day after he was funded. Live, real money. We specialize in helping people get funded and keep the money they make. We're the only people in the business that do this. Nobody else is going to analyze live, real money trades, give you options, and keep you accountable so you can keep it. I'm done preaching, Mike.
I think there's a couple of things though that I want to circle back to psychologically, because I think there's some key points that when Pat gets on his Pat rants, I think we hear them and we're used to hearing it, but I think there's a couple key things that we have to hone in on. One is that this idea of having faith in the method. This is developed over time. We actually wrote this out when we were talking about how to build this program better. Back in 2020, right after the first Las Vegas mastermind event, we sat down and we said, okay, what are we doing good? What are we doing bad? And how can we improve this? And one of the biggest things is we had a method, right? And there was a theory behind the method. So up to that point, we had always been teaching theory and method, theory and method, theory and method. And one of the biggest things we realized was the students that were successful, and by successful, I mean that they were trading for profit at that time with their own money, and they were doing it on a consistent basis. So it wasn't just like, hey, I got one profitable trade. It's that they were able, over the course of month after month after month, be profitable and stay profitable. They were able to do it because they had faith in the method. This is a different mindset, right? So this isn't just, okay, Pat taught me to do this. Sometimes it works, sometimes it doesn't. I could follow it here, but I'm not going to follow it here. One of the reasons why the method gets a little bit more complicated with each step is we want people to understand that the base method works, okay? That base method, that first 100, that isn't necessarily designed to teach you how to take a trade, okay? Most of you that are on this call right now, you know how to take a reversal. You learn how to take a reversal. At max, it took you 2 weeks to learn how to do a reversal. The concept of the reversal is very, very, very simple. Concept of an inverse, very, very simple. Concept of a gap fill, very, very, very simple, right? So the conceptual idea of how you do it was the easy part. The difference was when that market is slamming down and it's heading right for that HVA for the first time, being able to have faith that those HVAs that Pat drew the night before are going to hold. Okay, that faith and that bounce that's going to happen, that faith is developed over time. That is a psychological faith. Okay, that is a belief that the system will work for the high probability amount of time. Okay, high probability 70+% of the time. All right, that gap will fill, high probability 70+% of the time, no matter where it opens. Okay, developing faith in the system is a big first step in the psychology of this. So don't think that those first 100, we've had so many people say to us, oh, I just got to get to live trading faster. I just have to get to live trading faster. I've got to make money with this. Okay, I can't tell you how many students I've had, and maybe some of you that are on this call have said this to us. I just got to get to making money. I've got to turn this into something profitable. Great. But if you jump ahead, you're missing out on the important part of the system that was built. Okay, which is, okay, you understand the theory behind why we do, why market profile works, why the HVAs work. You understand the method. Okay, here's how to take reversals, here's how to take inverses, and here's a gap fill. Okay, you understand the methodology of how to do it. But being able to function in a live environment when that pucker factor kicks in, when that market is slamming down and it's heading right at that HVA and all of a sudden it bounces, having belief that it's going to bounce and allowing you to get in with that great entry, that's faith. And the way to develop that faith is to do this over and over and over again. And maybe not the 5th time you do it, maybe not the 50th time you do it, but at a certain point, you develop that I believe in this factor, right? And it's not always a hard transition. You don't always one morning wake up and go, you know what, I really believe in this. But it's that transition where you inherently say, I have absolute faith in the system. I believe the system will work and I believe it can be profitable, okay? We talked about this in the Sedona Mastermind, and we talked about building a cult. I don't know if you guys remember this. I talked about building a company versus building a cult. Some of you were there. I believe what Pat does. I believe in how he teaches it. I believe in the method. I believe in the theory to a level of absolute faith. Okay, we've put a ton of money into this company. We've built an entire model around this company because it works. Because I truly believe that it works. I've seen it. It's been sustainable over time. Part of what I have to do and what Pat has to do is to develop that level of faith in each of you. Okay, that's the first part of the psychology of this. The second part is having the ability to step in front of that bus and take the trade. Okay, that goes hand in hand with it. When you've done this, taken this trade a number of times on sim and you see that it works, the transition to taking it live is a little bit easier. That's why we have the first 100 guys. That's why Money Management 1 is in place. It's to develop that and that ability to pull the trigger and believe in the method. Okay, that's the first part of the psychology. The second part of the psychology here is trade management. When do you get out? Believing in the system. Do you trail out? Why do we not teach you to trail right out of the gates? Why do we teach all in, all out first? Because we want you to understand the trade. We want you to understand what it feels like to be in it. Okay? It's called by a lot of different names. I call it the pucker factor. Okay? I don't know about you guys. There are some trades that I'm in. I swear I don't breathe when I'm in the trade. Okay, it's a little bit different now that I prop trade and it's not my own money. But when it was my own money and I'm moving multiple contracts, that pucker factor kicks in. I don't care how poor or how wealthy you are. When you've got hundreds, if not thousands of dollars on the line, the pucker factor kicks in. I would have to remind myself to breathe. Okay, so there's another factor there of getting used to taking the trade, having a system that says, okay, when you take the trade, this is when your trailing stop will move. Having a method to rely on. Okay, it makes the psychology side much easier because you don't have to think about it. You just do what you were taught. And you do what you were taught enough times that it stops being something you have to think about and it can be something that you just act on. Repetition, repetition, repetition. How do we teach you guys that? We teach you that with the first 100. We teach you guys that with Money Management 1 and Money Management 2. Oh, why do I have to take 100 trades? Because you need that repetition to overcome the weak psychology that we all have. Okay? So understand why the system is built the way it is. It's built to aid you guys in getting to the next level. Okay? Now you've taken the trade. Win or loss doesn't matter. Okay? Win or loss doesn't matter, and I'll tell you why. Because either way, it has a psychological effect on you. If you win, right, how are you going to keep that money? You've got to know to peel some off. You've got to know not to put it all in the next trade. Pat has an entire system developed around that. Why is there a system, guys? So you don't have to think about it. If you're disciplined to the system, the results will be there for you. The opposite is true if you lose your first trade, right? So now you have revenge trading to deal with. You have all these other factors that you have to deal with that are the opposite of coming off of initial win, okay? They also have to be dealt with systematically, hence the format that we have, okay? So I'm not going to get into Pat's specific method. I'm just going to talk about the psychology of it. I want you guys to understand, though, all of this was built as a system so that your personal psychology, your personal reaction to that, the emotions that well up, all right? And we all have it, guys. We all have it, all right? When I think it was Dakota Vaughn took that $1,600 winner Okay, that's a freaking awesome feeling, guys. When you take a rip like that, it feels good. Okay, so much so that you become risk. The risk doesn't scare you anymore, right? You're embracing risk now. You feel invincible. Okay, we've all done that, and we make mistakes, and a lot of times you give back the money. Not if you depend on the method. Okay, so I tell you guys this to understand. There's 3 steps of psychology to this that are we kind of brush them all into one big group, but they're 3 separate parts. Okay, the first is getting into that trade and having faith in the system and being able to step in front of the bus and take it. Okay, and we do everything we can to aid you psychologically. We built software that might as well slap you in the face and say, take the trade. Okay, the indicators, all of the systems to say, guys, take the trade, take the trade, take the trade, right? The second thing is the management of the trade. We've also built software for this as well. Okay, we have an entire methodology about how to manage the trade for you. All right, and the third is after the trade is taken and dealing with the results. The problem is there's not a lot of software you can build that will deal with the results for you. This is the part you have to take over as a trader and dive deep into that method and understand what to do next in the system. This is where the learning is really important. About 9 months ago, we did away with the requirement of money management too. We made it an eligible thing that you can do, but you weren't required to do it. I cannot stress enough to you guys how important it is to do money management too, especially if you're struggling with the psychology of the trade. Okay, so we do have anyone that's an existing student, anyone that's in the rooms that is part of the trade review systems. Okay, so if you're part of that trade review systems, understand, guys, that money management 2 part is that last step. Pat, how many students have gone back to you and said, I want to redo money management 2 because I don't feel comfortable yet? Okay, there's been dozens of students that have come back and said that. I don't want to go live yet because I don't have that faith in that level yet. Okay, so I tell you guys all of that to understand that the system, the background of this is built to your benefit. Okay, and I don't know that we often talk about that. A lot of times we tell you what you have to do, but we don't tell you why. We don't tell you why, okay, we do that. We do it for your benefit. We do this to overcome the psychology. These systems aren't just because mathematically they work better. That's the trade side. That's the indicator side. The rest of this is about helping you deal with the psychology. That said, Pat, I'm going to go through these last few ones if you want to go through these trades, and then I want to get into sort of how we can help them manage this. All right?
Sure. Inverse short. What are we talking about here, guys? Does everybody see those orange? They could look pearish rectangles, areas. Those are high volume areas for those of you that are not familiar with them. Those are what I'm talking about, drawing the night before. When you see this consistently happen, meaning price hit those areas, stop and give you an opportunity to take an entry, it is unbelievably powerful. I am the only guy in this business that does this. No one on financial news television is coming in there telling you go short in the Dow at this price the day before. I am. My reputation is on the line every single day. When you see this happening over and over and over again, you see 6, 7, 8 people taking the exact same trade, guys, it starts to seep into your subconscious. Here's another one. Oil. Market opens, goes all the way down to the bottom of that high volume area. Boom, monster winning trade, prop account. The same thing over and over and over again. You're waiting for price to get there the first time, take the trade. I can do 99% of this work for you guys. I can't make you take it. That's up to you. Gap fill. Market opens, gap up. Gaps fill roughly 90 some odd % of the time in that same session. You have to take it. After watching people do it over and over and over again, sooner or later, you're going to take it. You've just got to do it. I can't do everything. I can't force you to do it. You've got to do it. But I'm there with you every step of the way, which, well, nobody else in this business is. Then another one, Stephen Bryan. As you notice, the market opens, had massive volatility up and down, did not give a valid trade at the bottom of the HVA near the bottom of the screen, but then at the bottom of the HVA above us, you got a red bar. Our software is telling you that's a valid one-to-one reward to risk trade. Take the trade. This is Stephen Bryan. He's one of those people that I was telling you about that first the prop companies hated us. Now they love us because Stephen is making anywhere between $1,500 and $3,000 a day that he trades. 90% of that he's keeping. Guys, I also want you to understand something too. I'm not just some buffoon. I've been on both sides of this business, the retail, the trading side. I was Series 7, Series 66 licensed. I was licensed to trade collateralized debt obligations at Wachovia Securities. I am a Series 3. I am a commodities futures options licensed. 34. Forex license. Mike and I own a CTA, Commodity Trading Advisor. That means we can give advice to people trading. We can trade their own money for them. I can't tell you how many methods, alleged methods, that have been submitted to us that I have blown out of the water and shown people they do not work. This is all we do every single day. This is Stephen Bryan again. Another winner. Those are his linked accounts. Those are live, real money linked accounts with his profits in front of you. Stephen is not a financed, he doesn't have a finance degree. He's not an MBA. He doesn't work at Goldman Sachs. Stephen Bryan, and let me tell you guys what psychology is. Stephen Bryan came to us and told us, this is life or death for me. I am going to be a professional trader. There is no other option for me. So much so that the prompt company he's involved with wants to project Stephen's charts when he's trading. If that's not validation of what we do, I don't know what is.
Yeah, you got to tell the whole story with Stephen too, that he struggled for a long time with being consistent, and then when he found his consistency and his faith in the system, he became extremely profitable. And he's not only, I mean, he's trading prop accounts. The prop firm looks at him and says, I don't know how you're doing this as consistently as you are. Can we project it? Guys, that's a student that for his first 90 days to 6 months in the program struggled because he kept trying to outsmart the system, kept trying to outsmart the methodology, and his own psychology was getting in his way. And I got to tell you, now watching him, he's one of the, he's an extremely profitable trader. He's super consistent. I've actually watched his live streams. He's amazing to watch because he follows the rules. He doesn't deviate from the rules, and he's done by 11 o'clock every day. I mean, the guy's just, it's awesome to watch. So I say this because it's perfect proof that you can be taught to do this. You can be taught the method, you can be taught the theory, but you got to follow the psychology of it. Your own psychology is what's going to limit you. We'll give you as many tools as possible to help you overcome it. We'll teach you as much as possible to help you get there, but at a certain point, you've got to take control of that mindset side. So with that in mind, guys, I want you to understand, we deliver multiple things to help you manage the psychology side of it, okay? As I said before, trade reviews is one of the most important things that we do to help you manage it. We also have, Pat's methods as they are developed are built so that you don't have to think. It's designed to take away the thinking side of it, okay? There's a huge value to having a method that you know what to do next. It's a decision tree. It's very simple. If this, then this, okay? It's been dumbed down to that point And that is why, in my personal opinion, the repeatability and the success of many, many, many students is the fact that it comes down to a simple system. You just have to follow it. And your level of success is dependent on your ability to follow the system consistently and in a disciplined manner. With that in mind, guys, I know we've been on for a while. I want to talk just briefly. We are in the middle of something right now. We've got some really cool stuff going on, and I just want to share it with you. As you guys know, with the education system, we've got signal rooms. If you've never been in the signal room, that's our Market Mavericks room. Market Mavericks is really cool for both experienced and new traders. Gets blow-off trades called out every day. If you haven't added the blow-off trade to your arsenal, it's a really simple trade to add. You can add it on a market profile screen. It's a real simple trade to take, and from 9 a.m. to 10 a.m. Every morning, we have a live blow-off room where Bubba will call out the trade prior to taking it. It kind of gets people used to taking the trade. But if you're an experienced trader, it's neat because you get to add the arsenal to your arsenal, that blow-off trade. It gives you an extra couple of trades each day. We also have the online classrooms, live online trading rooms. We have modified this system over time. As you guys have seen with the classrooms, Randall is no longer teaching it. There's nothing wrong with Randall. We absolutely love the man to death. He just had to retire, guys. Randall got to a point he needed some time to himself and to his family, and he retired out. He is still available for one-on-ones for any of you that are remember working with him or have worked with Randall in the past. He's probably, in my personal opinion, the single best value add if you're looking for that hey, I'm not quite sure what I'm doing wrong and I'm not quite sure I'm there, why I'm not there. He's really good at diagnosing it and helping you get back on track. We do have the trade reviews, the first 100 system. We do trader checkups. The trader checkups, guys, I know a lot of you are like, oh, I got to get a call from Anya or from Rachel, from Aaron. I don't always feel like answering that call. Just realize, guys, a lot of those aren't sales calls. We're calling you to see where you are and how you're doing, what you're doing well, and what you're struggling with. And when we find out what you're struggling with, we're trying to guide you towards solutions, okay? We call them trader checkups internally, TCUs, okay? So if you see those girls reaching out to you, Rachel, Aaron, Anya, if they're reaching out to you to do a TCU, please give them the courtesy of that it's a 5-minute conversation, guys, 10-minute conversation. They just want to know what you're doing well, how things are going, what you're struggling with, if you're taking some time off of trading, if you're getting ready to double down into it. Let them know what's going on. We keep very good tabs on our student base. We have, there are life events that happen sometimes. Don't just walk away. Let us know what's going on. We can work with you. We do offer pauses and memberships. We do offer things like that if you've got life events going on, but if we don't know about them, we can't help you. Those trader checkups are designed to keep us in touch with you, to track what's going on with you guys, what you're doing well and what you're struggling with, so we can help get you guys, each of you, to the next level. And as always, we've got the campus library. Guys, the campus library is going to be changing its destination when we switch to Flow. It's going to be internal in our new system, and there's going to be a lot more information there than there has been in the past. We're actually changing a lot of our operational configuration, and we're bringing a lot more to the table. Shorter videos, more instructional things, a lot of review material. So as that rolls out, just pay attention. You're going to see that. You're going to get invitations to different libraries and stuff as that happens. That's going to be throughout the month of July. As I had talked about earlier, we will be switching to Flow next week. Don't worry if you don't have it yet. It'll be on the main page. We'll get a bunch of emails in front of you guys, making sure that you make that transition as smooth as possible for you, okay? And then last but not least, guys, June is mentorship month. We've got a lot of really cool small group mentorships. For those of you that don't know or aren't existing students, we work on a small group mentorship program. We keep all of our mentorships under 10 people. We do that so that the efficacy and the information that you're able to have, you're able to ask questions and they can be interactive, and you can get much more intimate with the topics that we cover. We literally have all of the mentorships starting either this month or next month that are restarting, so it's a great opportunity to get involved. We do have some really, really good pricing specials going on right now that will be available through the end of the month. Just briefly, guys, if you don't know what the mentorships are, I'm going to cover them real quick. The accelerated market profile, that's Pat's entire program. Everything Pat teaches in all of the different systems. It's actually a 6-week program with 2 extra weeks added on the back end. They're hour-long classes. Right now, Pat, you're teaching them, correct me if I'm wrong, you teach them on Saturdays at 11, correct? Is it 11 a.m. on Saturdays?
Correct, 11 a.m. Eastern Standard Time.
Perfect. The first class started last week, which you can get recording access to. So we are offering a discount because the first class is recorded. And by the way, that is a perpetual class. So you're always welcome to go back and re-attend it if you want to brush up on stuff after you've signed up for it. By the way, Master Key students, you always have access to that program. The second one is the drawing high volume areas. Guys, this is the foundation of what Pat does. We've had a couple of people come to us over the years and say, hey, listen, if something ever happens to Pat, I lose everything. I don't know how to do HVAs. So we said, you know what? We're going to teach people how to draw HVAs for themselves. This is the absolute foundation of our method. The class started June 17th, but it is a revolving class, so that is available on a regular basis. We do have a new I'm going to call it refurbished webinar coming on July 21st. This is an expert mentorship. Okay, so this is for more advanced traders. We do require you to have been through Money Management 1 to be able to attend this by July 21st. So you don't have to be through Money Management 1 right now, but by July 21st. Guys, if you remember, this is a program that we had a few years ago that we've revisited. We've re-updated it for the times. So the current market conditions. It talks about the market auction process in depth, interval price action, volumetric profile. This is a deep dive, guys. So this is for advanced students, and I cannot stress to you enough. Do not sign up for this if you're not at that level yet. It's going to be over your head. Okay. This is very in depth. This is a very back and forth class. You got to understand the basics to be able to take this class and get something out of it. However, if you are taking it, this is master level stuff. This is going to turn you from being an advanced trader to mastery level. Literally the edge of the breadcrumbs here, guys. This is the most in-depth class that we have. And as I said, it's going to be a lot of new material that we've never taught in the past advanced context trading. We are rebuilding the program for the new market conditions. So July 21st is that one. And again, if you're Master Key, you're automatically eligible for this program. So just let us know, and we'll get you a seat in the class. As with the other classes, when these last 7 seats sell, guys, this will no longer be open. All right. I touched briefly on a couple of the programs. I'm not going to go too far in depth on these guys, but we do have the Prop Trade Accelerator program. That gets you most of the software. It gets you Executioner, HVAs, live trading room, small group mentorship, campus library, ramp up, all the goods. We have the Prop Trade Accelerator, which also includes the Da Vinci and allows you to take the gap fills. This is absolutely amazing in these market conditions. It's a great bundle pack. The pricing is really hard to beat on that one. And then, of course, we have the Master Key, which you've heard me mention a few times. And as always with the Master Key, when you buy it, it's a 1-year access. It can be financed. Okay. I stress. Bang for the buck. This one is hard to beat. Okay, this is the highest value because anything new that comes out, you get access to. All of the existing market profile stuff that you get access to, all of the existing futures programs you get access to. So very high value product. Right? And then of course we have the options program. We combined the COP and the options trading program into one purchase. If you're interested in learning how to trade options, that program is super discounted right now, and it's lifetime access as well. Summary thoughts. Pat, do you want to go over anything at the end?
I just hate that people have been fooled by this industry for so long that, man, I'm going to put a lot of money in an account and boy, I'm going to be successful without any training or any accountability whatsoever. Guys, that's a broker telling you that. They want you to blow every freaking penny you have, come back with some more money and keep doing it over again. I cannot stress the importance of having a coach, being held accountable, and being with or having a method that works that you have confidence in. Outside of that, you're not ever going to have to spend another dime on any trading psychology books, any other webinars. You don't need them. It's pretty simple. You do the same thing over and over and over again, and that's it. There's not this. If you ever saw Barry Gordy's The Last Dragon, you don't have to keep training because Bruce Leroy finally realized that he was the master and he didn't need any more. If you don't have someone that believes in you guys, this is going to be a very, very difficult business to survive in.
Thank you, Pat. So, guys, if you have any questions, drop them in the general chat. I'm going to stop the recording right now. I want to say thank you all for coming. Drop them in the chat, and Pat can respond. And then, Pat, you're going to run the regular room over this, so you can take over the presentation at any point. Thank you, guys.
Great, thank you.